Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. Well, I tried to be nice, and I feel the need to set the record straight. And I really, after listening to the previous couple speakers, I'm left with a couple of different questions. And the first one of which is, did you read the bill? The second one is, do you understand how public school is funded in the state of Georgia? Because we heard a couple of different things that would lead me to believe that either you didn't read the bill or you want the people at home to think that this bill is something that it's not. The minority caucus chair talked about there's no accountability. This bill has more testing for private school kids than my 4 children have in the public school that they attend. There is annualized testing in this. The House, under the leadership of Speaker Jones and Representative Todd Jones, added additional auditing to this bill. So this bill has incredible transparency by which parents and the public can see what their investment is. We've been through this time and time again, but these arguments keep coming up. So as it relates to the funding of education, our former chief economist, when he was at UGA, did a study for every school system in the state of Georgia and contemplated the question of what happens if you take the state funding and the child and remove it from public school. You're leaving behind the local funding. And what happens when you account for that marginal cost as it relates to the average spending that remains for the students that remain behind in public school? And the answer is there's more funding per child under these programs in 178 out of 180 districts. So I don't mind if we have debates about whether public money should be going to private institutions, but by the way, if we want to unwind that, come drop a bill to get rid of the Hope Scholarship. Drop a bill to get rid of Medicaid. Drop a bill to get rid of Pell Grants. Drop a bill to get rid of pre-K. Because all of those programs take public money and send it to a private institution. So we have this feigned outrage about the distribution of funds, but it's really, really selective outrage. And I can't help but wonder why. You know, there was it was postured earlier that, well, this is a bill for the wealthy. I've got news for you. The wealthy already has school choice, including some of the wealthy members in this room who have been able to exercise school choice for their own children. It was further speculated, well, and it's this really kind of convoluted argument. $6,500 is going to bankrupt the school system, but it's really not enough money to help poor parents who want to get their kids into a private school or homeschool or virtual school or any of the other options that are available. Well, then drop a bill to raise the amount of money that's in the scholarship. And I'll be the second signer of that bill. By the way, we talked about the reality that this is a bill that is supported by multiple groups of voting populations if we want to divide Georgians up into groups. And I have a poll that I've cited before, and I'll read it again. ESAs have support from 81% of Republicans, 70% of Democrats, 78% of independents, 87% of Hispanics, 73% of African Americans, 77% of millennials, 80% of Gen X. When we ran a poll on this last year, do you know the only demographic that didn't support this? Wasn't African Americans, wasn't Hispanics, wasn't even Democrats. Democrats overall support it. The only demographic in our poll that we ran last year that does not support this is white Democrats. But when you look at this swath across the board of Georgia, the bulk of Georgians support this program. It was referenced before that the free market is a shiny object. And I would agree. The free market is a shiny object. It is a shiny object that has lifted more people out of poverty than any other market force in the history of humanity. And I want to give you an example of the free market at work. I think James has a photo that he's going to put up here, and as luck would have it, this morning, I had the opportunity to meet these students. And the person who founded their school, and she's actually off frame in this photo on the right, you can't see her. But she started a private school in Forest Park called Ladies of Favor Dream Academy. And we were told this morning $6,500 just isn't enough. These students told me this morning how they're learning Mandarin Chinese. They're involved in all sorts of extracurricular activities. They frankly seem to be getting a better education than my own children are getting. And do you know how much money they pay? $450 a month. Do you know what the median cost is for a private school in the state of Georgia? Maybe not the ones that y'all send your kids to, but the median cost of a private school in the state of Georgia? $8,300. So don't tell these parents that a $6,500 bridge can't change the life of their family, because it can. Why don't we just cover the whole cost of it? Because I think there's actually value in having these parents have skin in the game. I think there's value in having these parents engaged in the process. You know, when this bill was in the House last year, there was a representative who said the quiet part out loud, and she said that these poor parents can't be trusted, especially those without high school diplomas, can't be trusted to make educational decisions for their children. Made national news, but it gets to the core. It gets to the core of where we believe decisions should be made. It gets to the core of who we trust. And for myself and my colleagues that voted for this bill, we're saying that we trust parents. When this bill failed on the floor of the Senate in 2019, I was sitting at my desk right back there, and my friend, the former senator from, I believe, the 7th at the time, the numbers have changed, was walking past me in my moment of defeat, and the AJC reporter was right over there and took a photo. And the photo that ran the next day was her cheering in the foreground and me sulking in the background. Last year, I stood in the back of the House chamber, and after this bill fell short in the House chamber, the minority party erupted in applause. But it's not applause for children. It's applause for protecting institutions, protecting teachers' unions, building this moat around this thing that we say is one-size-fits-all education. Well, today, colleagues, I may just let out an applause when this bill passes. And when I cheer, I'm going to be cheering because students all over the state are going to have opportunities like those students who today are in a school, this all-girls school in Forest Park, Georgia, that is giving them the opportunity to learn Mandarin Chinese in the 3rd grade, that hopefully is preparing the next governor of the state of Georgia to lead this great state. And when I cheer today, I'm going to be cheering because more parents and more families will have more opportunities. And I'm lastly going to be cheering in thanks to my friends who are in the back of the room today that got this done on the House side. Speaker Pro Tem Jones and Todd Jones, who walked over here today. And Lieutenant Governor, I'm going to be cheering for you because your friendship means so much to me, but the way that you fought for this means the world to me. And you deserve the credit for getting this thing across the finish line. I'm so very grateful. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the well.